I have a few concerns for Black Ops 7 is what Espresso says, which Espresso is my friend Jordan. If you've never checked out his channel, go do it. As far as Black Ops 7 goes, I would say I have a little bit more than a few concerns. I have a lot of concerns, but at the same time, a lot of it looks really good to me. And I'm curious what his concerns are and where they compare to mine and whether or not I have the same concerns or different concerns than him, because this is kind of a hot topic right now. We have people putting out wish lists for Black Ops 7. This week should be a week where we get a little bit more information, some more teasers, specifically Friday. But anyway, oh, good music, good music.
I've got a few concerns for this upcoming year's Black Ops 7 that I want to discuss with you today. In a year where concerns have kind of been standard, the future being wide open, and with so many questions yet to be answered, there's a few glaring things that I feel like we should mention. Now, feel free to chime in with any you may have in hopes that we can maybe see some of these addressed by the time the game ends up launching. And if you'd like to join in on these types of conversations, we're going live regularly on Twitch again, so if you'd like to stop by and say hello, that link is down below. But let's jump into it. So, first, let's talk about, is this game's offering going to be worth it? And I mean beyond just the knee-jerk
I'm pretty sure what he's talking about here is the $80 DLC in the room.
Action point of, no, this game's not going to be worth it. I'm talking like the content offering. Is it going to be in line with what we see year over year that warrants an actual price tag of what we'll see is probably $80? Currently, insiders have reported that the campaign's not looking too hot. Multiplayer seems...
So the campaign not looking too hot has me worried. Like it legitimately does. But Raven's working on it, and Raven's done some pretty good campaigns. What the worry to me is the open world nature of it. It can be done right. It has me worried though. The open world mission in Black Ops 6 was garbage. Worst mission in the game. So that's what has me worried.
Seems like it's going to be minimally different compared to Black Ops 6 with some slight wall running, Pick 10 returning as the class system, and
that could be good.
Maybe a few other things, but nothing really over the top as an entirely different feeling. And zombies kind of sounds like it's going to be eating well again, which I'm happy for my zombies friends if that actually does happen. But for the product as a whole, one of my biggest reservations with the topic is the game's developmental time, because this is a huge question mark. The last time we saw this sort of pendulum swing was Modern Warfare 3. That game was reportedly developed in 16 to 18 months, which is not a lot of time at all. And I think that it showed that at launch. Post-launch, of course, that was an entire...
I actually enjoyed the Black Ops 6 open world because, yeah, that is true. It's one of the few missions that were actually... So here's a video that I want to make. This is so much a side topic. Icebergs was actually the one to point this out to me, that if you actually take the Black Ops 6 campaign and split it into two, there's two completely different stories. There's the Avalon story, and then there's the story that's based in history. So you take like your open world mission, and then the mission where you storm Saddam Hussein's palace, things like that, put that into one campaign. And then you take the Avalon missions and then like the advanced technologies and application division and everything like that. They're two separate stories, and you could tell them completely differently, but they put them together into one. And I found that really, anyway, that was super side note. Anyway.
Entirely different story, but at launch in that initial shipped product,
video's frozen.
Well, you definitely have a case there that it wasn't a complete game. But while Treyarch had 4 years for Black Ops 6, it's possible some of that time was allotted or broken down into smaller teams to work on Black Ops 7, but point being, best case, we're probably looking at 2 years and some months and change if this game...
So I've heard two theories on this. Number one is that they were working on Black Ops 7 the entire time. Number two is this game's only been developed for like 1 to 2 years. I don't know the answer.
Was sort of like fully meant to be developed as such for 2025 from the very beginning. And it's quite possible it could be way shorter than that. I just worry that what we see is not going to be a strong offering for right out of the box and what you end up getting for your money, especially when there's rumors of more open world missions, actually all of which being in Avalon for the...
So campaign aside for a second, it seems as though we now get two types of games just because of the way that they're run. One is Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 6, that have this booming launch, are amazing at launch, and then don't get supported properly because they're getting ready for the next game in that series. So in other words, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 7. That's why Black Ops 6 sucks right now, is because everyone's working on developing Black Ops 7. And then the following year, you get a game that sucks at launch and gets much better throughout it. I don't know why we can't figure this out.
Campaign. The multiplayer will be predominantly like remasters or maps from Black Ops 2 mixed with a few original ones in there. And well, zombies, it kind of sounds like it's going to be standard, but
that's
anyways,
not what I've heard for multiplayer. Is it going to be a bare bones
situation again at launch, or will it be something that's like a miracle where Black Ops 7 was actually the intended design and dev target, but Black Ops 6 was kind of just made along the way, making the foundations for this? For the record, I don't think that last bit is likely, but I'd be happy to be wrong. I'd be happy if it ended up being a stronger game than Black Ops 6, but will it be worth that $80 price tag? I think right now, without any official confirmation, it's speculative at best, but I think this one might be more in line with the sort of initial justification of Modern Warfare 3, kind of being seen as a DLC. And I guarantee that we're going to see that DLC debate roll around again in just a little bit of time.
So here's where people are going to disagree. So I don't think we will see that argument as much this time because the setting is different. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 took place a year apart. This game and Black Ops 6 take place 40 years apart, a bit more than 40 years apart, 44 years apart. So that is where the non-DLC argument comes in. Now, there's going to be people that are like, I just played a Black Ops game. Why do I need to buy another one? But I think we're going to see less of the DLC argument.
With everything funneling back into the COD HQ umbrella, almost certainly we'll end up seeing that listing in Steam's database listed as a DLC like we did for Modern Warfare 3. So yeah, that's going to probably be something that is going to go live and be public in a couple of weeks' time, I would imagine. I guess
Friday.
Bright side with this one is that we do know immediately that it will be a day one Game Pass game, so it's something that you can try out. You don't have to commit the money to in the sense of owning the game outright, but still. Next, another concern is how will the game itself be different? I think the older that I get, the more I look back at the 17 years of playing this game, the more I think back to that dubbed golden age of COD, I always think about how much more there was a genuine pendulum shift between the gameplay and the game feel game over game. Like, yes, a lot of the COD experience, even back then, was pretty similar, and if you've been around this long, you will know that people, even in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, were like, it's the same game being sold again. But like the big thing was that Treyarch and Infinity Ward trade-off in titles. They had a distinct feeling to them, a sort of Coke and Pepsi vibe, where one camp really enjoyed one, while the other camp enjoyed the other. And that was...
It's still that way. It's just we don't get that pendulum swing year to year. I saw this comment on one of my videos. It was my video giving my opinions on this. And it was actually a good comment. He says, Inkslasher, you don't realize that some people just like playing Modern Warfare games and some people just like playing Black Ops games. And I think you're absolutely right in saying that. But I also think it's important to have a game that's neither of them. So I still don't get why they don't just do a 3-year cycle, and I don't know.
It was totally fine. It appealed to everyone, but in a different way, if that makes sense. To a degree, you kind of had that, but not so much as over the last 5 years.
I keep thinking that this says lobster kill. It says lodestar kill. It does not say lobster kill.
The only game that really felt different in the last 5 years was Cold War in 2021. And that's because it wasn't on the same unified engine. Now everything is built off that same architecture established with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, structurally built around the same core principles because they want to funnel everything in and make development into Warzone easier to manage. Vanguard was also similar in feeling year over year because it was built off the Modern Warfare 20.
I will say I think Vanguard felt a little bit different just because of the World War II vibe, but yeah, it's same engine, same feel.
2019 framework. And well, Modern Warfare 2019 was that framework going back to the 5 years and 6 years, I guess. Cold War is the only game built in the Warzone era that was still built upon prior Black Ops framework and installments.
True.
That feeling isn't so much different anymore, game over game, that it ends up leading, I think, to more fatigue and feeling of I'm playing the same game
is something
even
I
more
haven't
now
heard.
than ever. So while we're likely to have a still similarly feeling game because it's all built off the same core principles, I do think there needs to be some sort of justification found somewhere to make it a good addition and worthwhile to the players, I think. Another question I have is how much will the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 hinder their performance here with this? At this point, this is no means meant to be like console shaming or anything like that, but more so a genuine concern of hardware limitations and the differences between experiences. At this point, The Xbox One and PlayStation 4 hardware can be as old as 12 years old when the game will launch this fall. And sure, there's mid-generation consoles, but those original ones...
So we looked at this on the weekly reload this week. 30% of players who are playing on the PlayStation ecosystem are on PS4 now. So it's below 50%. So we're about at that time where this gets wiped out. This is going to be the last Call of Duty that's on PlayStation 4 and the older Xbox. It's the last one. So after this is where things change. But then at that point, we're going to be getting a new Xbox and a new PlayStation, which is actually another video that we have to watch today.
Still exist like I have on the shelf. Sure, there's mid-generation consoles, but those original ones still exist like I have on the shelf behind me in my office. While we haven't seen gameplay comparisons, and we won't until a beta is out at some point later this summer, it's a speculative worry, but I think that it's a valid worry. We've seen graphical decline in generations slowly, and I think I remember somewhere hearing that COD HQ, kind of one of the very few benefits I think that it has, is that it makes this decay slower in those declines, but it still is noticeable. So how much at this point, likely being the last game supported for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, thankfully, this is probably going to be something we do still see some hindrance. So the question is just how much? Another concern that I have here that I feel like will be answered whenever the game is officially revealed, because what we had at the Xbox Game Showcase, that was just the teaser reveal here at that.
Call of Duty HQ is not going to be abolished for a very, 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 very long time, unfortunately. I think we all want that, but it's not going to happen.
The full reveal will be coming later in the summer, but is there going to be carry forward? I feel like this was a very hit or miss thing with a lot of people within Modern Warfare 2 going into Modern Warfare 3.
Let him talk and then I'll come in.
You fell on one side of the coin. You either loved it or you hated it. And I think that if the rumors are true about a relatively lack of launch content by comparison holds up to what we should expect, carry forward could be something that is brought again just to kind of save face with those day one launch totals of certain content, maps, weapons, modes, you name it. And so that might be something that I feel is going to be returning, but will it be done in a sense that it deteriorates the product from day one? Like, that's one of those things that I feel like it's a weird situation, because on one hand, I loved using my camos in Modern Warfare 3 on day one, but on the other hand, it also made that sort of Fortnite-ification of Call of Duty, that Ready Player One effect that was there for Modern Warfare 2. It made it there from out of the gate. Day one, you had those same crazy skins, and with what we've seen in Black Ops 6, I feel like it's gone above and beyond what we saw within Modern Warfare 2 by far, and we still have 2 more seasons to go after this.
Maybe.
So that could be something that for the people that don't like to see that kind of stuff, that could honestly spell disaster, but I'm curious to see what happens with that. Another concern is...
Okay. Chat. Need you to answer really quick. Do you want carry forward content or not? Just yes for carry forward, no for no carry forward, and then I will give you my opinion really quick. Just yes or no. I'll let you guys cook in chat. So carry forward frickin' sucks. I will tell you right now, carry forward sucks. They have built an ecosystem off of their microtransactions, and that is why they do carry forward. And the general public, not you guys in chat, because there has not been a single person in my chat right now that has said, yes, I want carry forward. Not one. But they'll do it because the general public will want it, or at least they think they will. And if carry forward was just camos or just operator skins on a very limited amount of operators, I would be here for it, especially if it was just camos. But that's not the case. It's all of the weapons, it's all of the attachments. And if they are indeed doing a pick 10 system, I don't want all of this bullshit that is the create a class system for a different game and filler. Like, who the hell has a battle royale and wants 200 goddamn weapons in it? Nobody. Because nobody who picks up the game, if I go, let's say I had a son. I don't have a son, but let's say I had a son and it's Christmas and I buy, let's say, the new Xbox, the new handheld Xbox comes out this year. And I'm like, my son is turning 14. I want to get him this new Xbox handheld. Buy it for him. Pick it up for him. He's like, Dad, what do you do? too. And, I play Call of Duty. Well, I don't know why I'm talking like that. I play Call of Duty. Do you want to try Call of Duty? And I download Warzone for him because it is free. And he starts playing, and there's 200 goddamn weapons on there, with each of them having like 30 attachments. Do you know how quick he's going to be like, screw this? I'll go play Fortnite where there's 10 weapons and they're very easy to tell which one's better and which one's worse. That's just the problem with Warzone. You have 20 or 30 weapons in there. It's a very different story. The way that they run the game right now is horrible for new players. And it's one of the reasons why player numbers keep dropping. They can't sell their game to new players. It's returning players. They sell their game off nostalgia. And the carry forward is there to keep existing players that are there, but it does not bring anyone new to the game. No one. Anyway, the rant over.
Is what will be done differently to keep player interest up. This is one that I don't claim to have the answers. I truly don't know that anyone does. Otherwise, we'd be seeing those player numbers still super high all throughout the year. But I think that one of the underlying issues right now is player interest. Call of Duty's heavy push and investment into being a live service game, yeah, it brings players back for those seasonal updates if there's something cool season over season, but you're going to have to find a way to keep players. And when you're marketing the game and rolling content out to do just that, by having these dead periods, it makes the player retention even worse. So how do you improve upon that system at hand and make it something worthwhile for the player and engaging, but more importantly, enjoyable to do? So again, I don't claim to have the answers on this, but I feel like that's a challenge that needs to be tackled. Next, is there going to be anti-cheat improvements? This needs to happen. And listen, I have consciously not been playing the game lately just because I've been having a ton of fun playing other games out there. Does it hurt the viewership when we upload
You guys want to hear my hot take on this one too? Like, are we just gonna make this video all hot? Do you want to hear my hot take on this one?
Stuff here on the channel? Yeah, but hey, guess what? I am not losing my sanity over it. I'm not playing a game that is frustrating me to all ends and forcing myself to do it, so I'm way happier playing other stuff. So that's a win, right? But I see so many clips of people still grinding out the game, which respect, but they'll come into contact with cheaters every single day. I feel like there was like one good week or so when Verdansk launched with season 3 that it actually felt good and everything just like actually felt solid. Felt like we kind of rounded a corner on the situation. And then since then, well, it's just been out of hand ever since. I will never pretend to know how an anti-cheat works, what we can do to adequately fix it, but as little as it actually lends to the conversation at large, we all know something needs to be done. And I guess we should mention it because we're talking about improvements to your gameplay and who you get matched with. Yeah,
This is how I get canceled off the internet. This take right here. Anyone in chat, try to name a multiplayer game, bonus points if you can do a free-to-play multiplayer game that doesn't have hackers in it. Counter-Strike, hackers forever. Valorant, apparently currently right now plagued with it. Apex, hackers. They all do. The answer is every single multiplayer game has hackers in it. The truth of the matter, they're not getting rid of hackers. They're not. It's just not going to happen. And honestly, here's the truth. Call of Duty is actually the only company who is going above and beyond to stop them, outside of an anti-cheat and going straight for the people creating the cheats and suing the shit out of them. Unfortunately, the legal system is incredibly slow, and this is probably going to do nothing as well. So, cheaters aren't going anywhere. And as long as Warzone's free to play, which it always is going to be, there's going to be cheaters. What do you do about it? You keep iterating on the anti-cheat. You keep going after the people creating the cheats. And in the end of the day, the cheaters are probably going to win because there's more people creating them than trying to stop them. And as soon as they implement a system that fixes it, the cheaters are going to make a system that breaks it. What do you do? There's no answer. There is not a single multiplayer game that doesn't have cheaters. And yes, it's less in other games, but not really in free-to-play ones. So what do you do? What do you do? I don't have an answer to this.
I would love to see skill-based matchmaking reduced, but let's be honest with you. We are lying to ourselves if we think that will happen. Like, listen, I would love to come to you guys with better news in this video and be optimistic about, like, yeah, this is our years, guys. This is when they're going to finally change skill-based matchmaking. But, like, do you want me to be honest with you, or do you want me to lie to you?
Lie to me,
like,
Jordan.
I think it should be understood that after 5 years of hardcore bitching about it, they're not going to do anything.
Why are you lying to me?
While matchmaking is going to be a pain in the ass, absolutely. That's one of those things that I just, in my mind, I don't see them fixing at all. So, yeah, I'm concerned about it, but what am I going to be able to do about it, you know? Another thing is, how will it not break the game every single update? I feel like every single time now we have a title update, and like this has always been true to a degree, but I feel like every single seasonal update for this game has had actual severe consequences in the update. Like, features entirely broken or missing, balancing completely undone, things like loadout drops not being able to be selected, crashing, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many different plethora of issues that we could talk about that has stemmed from seasonal updates. So how do you do this now going into next year? How do you make a game, put it out, that doesn't break every single time you update it? That, I think, is something that really needs to be tackled. Another and final thing here is, can we find a solution to over monetization? Monetization is honestly out of hand. And listen, I know you can just ignore it. That's what I do. I don't buy anything in the game, but from an outsider in that perspective of engaging with the shop, I mean, at the end of season 3, we broke it down. If you brought everything available, you'd spend $2,512.54 across all the bundles, battle passes, event passes, code packs, CDL packs, you name it. In a game that's already at least $80, if you buy it, again, yeah, you do have Game Pass you can work with, but you're seeing over a $3,000 increase in your initial price point. Then, we just recently had things like ads for bundles added into the creator class that, yeah, those got removed as a tested feature that weren't supposed to be there, but like...
Jordan's raging in this one.
They were planning on it, clearly. And the final argument is, how many times have you seen this shop broken for more than 20 minutes while the other rest of the game breaking issues persist for weeks to months on end? Like, there's got to be a better way, man. The final concern that I have isn't necessarily so much about the game itself per se, but just a concern of general fatigue. Overall, as weird as it is to say, I think I'm finally hitting my fatigue and burnout point with the franchise, and that's okay. Like, I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset. I've spent 12 years covering this game on, if you do the average over 12 years, it's a daily basis, not so much this year or the last 2, but I've spent so much time doing it daily that I still look forward to and get excited to share information, tips, tricks, guides.
Honestly, with what he's saying right here, this is why, if you're watching this on Ink TV, this is why I created this channel. Lately, we've been doing one non-Call of Duty, one Call of Duty video a day. But we go through like right now, Black Ops 7 is a thing to talk about. We go through phases where I go 2 or 3 days without talking about anything to do with Call of Duty. That's on purpose. That's because I want to talk about other games. I talk about Call of Duty story. I talk about all of this stuff for a long time. And hence why, like, on even Inkslasher, I did the story ending explained for Expedition 33. And I don't want to be tied down to just Call of Duty. Because sometimes the game freaking sucks. And we've gone through a big period this year where it is. And I have hopes, high hopes for Black Ops 7, but it's concerning at the end of the day.
Eggs and news that you'll find out around like launch and reveal times, but outside of that, when not much is going on news-wise, or like when I feel like I can add something decent to the conversation, where we're in between content updates and seasonal launches, and we're into January to like May or June, I'm just over that point as a creator that I feel like I need to post one singular game, forcing myself to upload Call of Duty because historically I've been a COD channel. It's not worth the loss of sanity, truth be told. And like, listen, I'm still going to be covering the game when it comes to the larger reveals here when the game...
I also have like, I've stopped doing just videos for like updates and everything. Like, I'll throw updates out on this channel because we're live streaming when it happens and it's just kind of like a highlight. But like on Inkslasher, I don't put out update videos unless there's like a comparison to older games, or do it in a way like that. I put story up, I put old Call of Duty games up, I put retrospectives up. There's no point in covering the rat race of Call of Duty anymore.
Launches later this fall, because there are a ton of people who are still interested in it that have subscribed to the channel, that know my stuff from the scene. I'm interested in that launch, but I think that we're going to be eventually ending up right where we are this time next year. Same thing with how we were last year and the year before that, when come January, I'm going to be back to posting other games and whatever else interests me at that point. Hell, we might even be rolling into GTA at that point. But while I'd love to be wrong, I don't think that I'll see myself long-term on this upcoming title if it's how it's being described. Like, again, yes, like I said,
I do want to do some GTA story videos on Ink Slasher. I just got to plan. I think those are going to be like January and February hype up for the launch of GTA. Do some GTA story videos. That could be fun.
The full weight of everything we'll be covering everything in depth with launch. But come season 1, season 2, probably gonna be minimal playtime for me. I promise though, no matter how good the game is at launch, this time in 2027, everyone will be fed up with the game regardless. That's one thing that I do know 100%. I talk about it on stream all the time, but literally I can pinpoint every season 1 update is when the game starts to go downhill, the sentiment turns sour, everyone ends up hating it, still plays it. And then come April, May, we end up seeing some teasers for the next game. People are like, oh, save us, COD developer, from this current game that currently sucks. So like, while I am hoping for a very successful launch, I'm hoping this game does everything that COD players want it to and more, I know exactly where we're going to be this time next year. So that is where we're at. That's my concerns for Black Ops 7 and what we've seen so far out of.
What I want for Black Ops 7, what I actually want is them to not pull any punches. I want them to make the game that they want, similar to like a Black Ops 3. If they're doing wall running, if they're doing boost jumping, freaking commit to it. And if everyone hates it, everyone hates it. Throw in specialists, throw in specialist abilities, make the game that they freaking want to make, because guess what? The year after that, Modern Warfare 4 is going to come out and it's going to have a huge amount of success. It just is. DMZ is going to be in there. Modern Warfare 4, Price is going to be in there. It's going to be the final battle with Makarov. It's going to sell gangbusters. So just risk it on this one. Just freaking risk it. Go wild with it. I'm fine with that. And maybe I'm in the minority of that. Maybe I really, really am. But like, if you're gonna do it, freaking do it. Don't half-ass it. Go balls deep. Some of the things I say in these videos, I just need to stop.